China finds itself in a sporting tussle once again. Amid the pool of issues surrounding the nation, a new controversy has emerged, shaking up the Chinese sporting system once more. So what's the latest to hit the nation? Reports have now emerged that of a shocking incident that happened leading up to the Tokyo Olympics. That 23 Chinese swimmers tested positive for a banned drug ahead of the Tokyo Olympics. Now here's the clincher. Despite testing positive, the swimmers were allowed to participate in the games, and guess what? Majority of the players that tested positive went on to win medals, which includes 3 golds. Now what was the substance that was found? It was banned drug called trimetazidine. It's a drug usually found in heart medications. Basically, it helps metabolize fatty acids that in turn help your body use oxygen. The drug allows for more blood to flow to the heart and limits quick changes in your blood pressure, a very important mechanism that would help swimmers perform better. So who allowed them to participate despite this offense? It was WADA itself, World Anti-Doping Agency, the governing sports. WADA was apparently aware about the doping strike against these Chinese swimmers, but it decided not to intervene after accepting China's explanation. What was the explanation that China gave to wriggle out of this? China said that the swimmers had ingested the banned substance unwittingly, and it happened because of substance contamination. They convinced WADA that there was no foul play intended here, that the drug appearing in the results was due to contamination alone in food that had been consumed. WADA promptly accepted China's reasoning and agreed it was due to substance contamination alone, hence wiving off the offense and letting them participate in the Tokyo Games. WADA is clearly also caught in this firing line.
We are equally confident that WADA's Independent Intelligence and Investigations Department followed up on all allegations received, which were not corroborated by any evidence, and thus did not meet the threshold to open an investigation.
Basically, they still stand firm by the decision they took back then. So it's a little odd. Let's say WADA's stance is correct. They might not have found the exact evidences, but how could the body allow the participation of these athletes nevertheless? Despite the substance being found in their bloodstreams, it's like when intruders are arrested by the police and their defense is they did not know it was not their house that they were entering. WADA is that unknown cop here and China the intruders. How can WADA agree to China's findings and remain silent as a governing body? WADA's primary role is to stop such acts and prevent sportspersons and countries from doping. Reports also say that other national and international anti-doping officials provided WADA insights pointing to a possible cover-up by Chinese authorities in this matter. So when everything was alluding to a more significant offense at play, why didn't WADA act on it? And there's more. While the names of the 23 swimmers have not been disclosed anywhere, a majority of China's swimming contingent that went on to participate in the Tokyo Olympics some years ago are still very active in China. In fact, many of whom are also set to take part in the Paris Olympics that's scheduled in a couple of months now, including one of the gold medalists from the infamous Tokyo Games, Zhang Yufei. Now, I'm not saying she could be one of the 23. The names have not been revealed, but the fact that many of the supposed tainted swimmers will be there at the Games has clearly enraged the sporting world. US Anti-Doping Agency's Chief Executive Officer, Travis Tigard, has now openly slammed China. Ever since 2020, Tigard claims that he has been providing WADA with his reports on a possible doping scandal in the country.
This appears to be a devastating stab in the back of clean athletes and a deep betrayal of all the athletes who compete fairly and follow the rules. All of those with dirty hands in burying these positives and suppressing the voices of courageous whistleblowers must be held accountable to the fullest extent of the rules and law.
Now, his anger is understandable, going by what everyone has been witnessing in the past. And I'm referring to China's history in swimming, especially when it comes to doping. Sure, Chinese athletes are serious gold medal contenders when it comes to the Olympics, but that legacy, especially when it comes to swimming, is quite tainted. During the period of 1990 and 1998, Chinese swimmers tested positive for using performance-enhancing drugs across various competitions like the Asian Games in Hiroshima and the 1996 Olympics in Atlanta. In 1998, in fact, China's swimmer Wen Wen was banned. Her ban was imposed after Australia's customs officer found somatotropin, or human growth hormone, in her bags. And while the world is coming down hard on China for this, there is one voice, though, supporting the athletes. is their Australian coach Dennis Cotterell, who is helping them prepare for the Paris Olympics.
I'm happy to say I'm absolutely in support of my swimmers and dispute any suggestion of anything orchestrated. I feel for the athletes here because of how hard they work now to eliminate the tag that was garnered in the 90s. People who come to China know that contamination is an issue. It unfortunately allows that doubt to come out and to surface. I can't prove anything, I just know the truth.
Now, Cotterell may have faith in the current Chinese swimmers, of course, by the looks of it, but it feels like history is repeating itself again. Cotterell, who in fact coached Sun Yang, a triple Olympic champion, he was banned for taking the very same substance that has come under the radar now, trimetazidine. The incident occurred in 2014, and back then Yang was banned for 3 months. But Yang is currently serving another ban, a 4-year ban for another doping violation, in a long saga where judges found him to have acted recklessly when he refused to let anti-doping authorities leave his home with a blood sample. The ban was imposed before the Tokyo Olympics, which ruled Yang out of the 2020 Olympics. That ban is set to lift just in time for the Paris Games. And here's the thing, this is the third such instance of China and sporting controversy in just over a month. A few days back alone, we saw a rigged half marathon by China, where Chinese athlete He Zhao was deliberately allowed to win by his competitors. Investigations, of course, showed the others allowed the Chinese runner to win. Of course, organizers were forced to respond after being pulled up and the winners stripped of their prize money and medals. And of course, last month, former head of China Football Association, Shen Zihuan, was given life imprisonment for bribery. The episode, of course, ending a long saga of corruption rampant in Chinese football. When will this end? When will the lack of transparency and the blatant disregard for rules governing the sport end in China is the question. Or rather, when it comes to sporting misgovernance, when will this end in the country?